Are you seriously going to eat, you fat blibbity blabbity blob? I mean, some of you might be like,
continual.
why would I want to start this?
Sensitive. She's sensitive.
You are listening to the Tami Talks Unscripted Healing Podcast, where we share stories that are, you guessed it, unscripted.
That's the thing, this journey doesn't stop.
It doesn't really
right?
end. We have a general sense of the topic each episode, but really the whole point is just to show up and be authentic and let our inner child speak its truth. And I have continued to work through that story of constantly hearing, well, we don't want, got a hot dog on our hands. Yeah, guess what, Mr. Sabatsky, you do. So I'm so excited that you are here, and it is my hope that you hear yourself somewhere in the story so that way you can feel seen and heard as well. So let's start talking. All right, here we go.
Do your intro.
I don't actually do that.
That was amazing. That was good.
Thank you.
Go to
I missed my
opera.
calling as an opera singer, apparently. No, I did not. Okay, here we go. Welcome to the Tami Talks Unscripted Healing Podcast. I am here with one of my besties, fellow entrepreneur, fellow mama bear, fellow mama.
I don't know, I'm all the things right
She's
now.
all the things.
All the
Hot
things.
Mess Express.
Yes.
Just
That's me.
doing all the things. This is my friend, Brittany. And her and I met, shocking,
Ooh.
no other than
Drum roll, please. At the gym.
at the gym, in the sauna.
Yes. Wild.
Wild.
I actually kind of creeped on her. I joined the gym 3 months prior to you and Karina joining. And you guys were doing like some CrossFit workout or
That's
something
what I've
like
always
that.
thought. Yeah. You're just
Yeah.
psycho.
Yeah, with the masks on. I'm like, who are these crazy ass women? And I just was fresh out of CrossFit. And I was like, all right, I want to do what they're doing because I miss that stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in a steam room and I saw that you walked into the sauna. And I was like, this is my time to talk to her.
I did not know this.
Yes, yeah.
Wow. You're here first, folks.
I know. And I walked into the sauna. You were sitting there, and I was like, all right, how do I bring up that I just want to do like a workout with you? How do I even bring that up? And then I honestly don't know how I brought it up, but I did. And then you're like, you should join us. I was like, well, shit, like that was easy. And then I think you're like, oh, do you come on Saturday? And I was like, I do now.
You do now.
And then you and Karina were sitting on the mat and I joined and I was like, these are my people.
Yeah.
And then they just never left. So I'm
Never-
sorry for never leaving.
Be careful who you invite to work out with you
Yes.
because they may never leave.
Yeah, that was me.
Well, and here we are
Yeah.
years later, and life has changed a lot.
Oh my gosh. What was that, like 3 years ago?
Yeah, probably either 2021 or 2022.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Life
Yeah.
has changed a lot. You have seen me through a lot
I've
of
seen
life
you through-
transitions.
Yep.
Yep.
I had a baby.
She
so
had a
that's
baby.
Wild.
You got married. You had a baby.
Oh my gosh.
I got divorced.
Yeah, it was one of those days that like when we always met up like outside of the gym, all the girls that we were hanging out with were all very negative Nancy. Not like negative, but like
there was some shit.
they were going through like the divorces, the breakups, all the things. And I'm like, I'm getting married. I just got engaged. Like
Always
all
bringing
the-
the positivity over here.
yeah. And I just remember going home to Clay one time. I was like, I don't know if I want to hang out with them outside of the gym anymore. And Clay's like, what's going on? I was like, they're just always like Debbie Downers. I'm not a Debbie Downer person. If there's any negativity in my life, I get it away from me. I'm always
Yeah.
very positive. So I was like, I don't know if these are my people anymore.
Yeah.
People for like working out, but maybe not people outside of the gym. And then you guys started to be more positive. And I was
like working our way through our
yeah,
stuff.
you guys worked your way
and-
through. And now now we're here and
Yeah.
all the things.
Well, and I will say I have always loved that about you. And whether you knew it or not, because I'm over here, this energy person and talking feelings and stuff. And Brittany's like, what?
Yeah, I don't do feelings,
But she-
everyone.
I have a
don't.
story about that actually with you. But you are so in tune with energy, actually. And in terms of being able to manifest things and all this stuff, like you are way more in tune with it than you even realize, which has been really cool. And so
Yeah.
to hear the way that you are with work and stuff, I'm like, girl, you are very intuitive and you follow the nudges, you take
Mhm.
inspired action. And that was a big reason why I wanted to have you on here, even when I first started the podcast, long before this little nugget
Yes.
came along, was because of how you have dove into entrepreneurship just guns a-blazing and worked your way through all of the challenges that entrepreneurship brings.
There's a lot.
There are a lot. But now you have this whole other little bundle of joy to deal with on top of that.
Yeah.
Not deal with. Maybe that's not the
I mean, it's kind of, it is to deal with, to be honest, because
I mean,
like you think that you figured out life with entrepreneurship and all that stuff, and then, oh, you had a baby. And now your world is like rocked upside down. You were a very scheduled person. Now she's your schedule. You hate to be late. And now you have to think about, all right, if I need to be at this location at 11 o'clock, I need to feed her at 10 o'clock. I need to burp her at 10:15. It's a whole thing. And now I'm getting more comfortable telling clients like, hey, can we push this call back by 30 minutes or by 15 minutes? I am struggling with my baby right now. So it's a pill to swallow of like me accommodating to us instead of my clients, which is wild. I know that was big. That was big for me to say. Guys, I don't do emotions. That was big.
That was real big. We're going to feel the feels here. My story about this is when it was 2 years ago now where my leg was really swollen.
Yep.
And I was
I remember this.
Not in a good place. And you could feel it just radiating off me. And usually I can spin things positively too and find the most of it. But I was not in that place that morning. And Brittany could sense it. And I remember you coming to sit down next to me outside of the sauna.
Yep.
And I don't remember exactly what you said, but I was just like, bitch, I need to feel this. Like, I understand people have it worse, but right now, this feels awful to me.
Yes. Yeah. You were crying in front of me and I was like, oh God, like, what do I do? Like, I am so uncomfortable when anyone shows crying or their emotions in front of me because I don't know how to react. So you were crying. I was like, it could be worse.
Right.
And you're like, F off. I was like, okay.
I don't think I specifically said that, but
no, but it was.
That was a stage of my life where I was really trying to allow myself to feel my feelings. And I was like, oh, no, I'm feeling this. Like, you're not shutting me down. Because I knew it was because of your discomfort. Because we had that conversation about feelings and emotions. But for people to truly think about that is when we try to shut people down when they're having a hard time. And I just had this conversation with a client of mine who had dealt with some really severe health stuff.
Yep.
And people would always be like, oh yeah, I know so-and-so has this, or, oh, it could be worse. And he's just like, that is not helpful because this is what I'm going through now. We just need to be able to hold space for people. You don't need to fix it. You didn't need to fix it. You don't need to feel it with me. It's just like, hey, like, I see you and this looks like it sucks right now.
I'm just thinking about like if there was a third person there just like watching us, they would feel so uncomfortable because you're crying at me. I look very uncomfortable, like awkward. How do I fix her?
Yeah.
I don't even know how we ended it. I think that you were like, I just need to go home or something like that. And I was like, you do you.
You do you, girl.
I'll see you tomorrow.
With a better attitude, hopefully.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah. But I remember that moment of like, whew, yeah, got to feel these. And so, yeah, it is a big deal for you to start letting that. And motherhood will 100%, like entrepreneurship. So someone who doesn't want to like feel the feels, you got into the wrong profession in the wrong.
Oh my gosh.
They will.
I think one of my biggest frustrations about being an entrepreneur mother is that I don't have maternity leave.
Nope.
I think that there should be, let's share this to the whole world.
Yep. This one's going viral.
Yes, this is going to be going viral because I wish that there was like a government fund for entrepreneur moms because I don't work a 9 to 5. And because of that, I don't have maternity leave. So I still have to grind and hustle to make the ends meet for my family. And don't get me wrong. It's not like that, like, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I need to still grind and hustle to support the family. But because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm my own boss, I don't have maternity leave. And I think it's BS that if I had a normal 9 to 5 job, I would have maternity leave.
Right.
And I would be able to be present with my baby even more.
Right.
But because I'm not, I still have to work.
Right. And people could be like, well, that's the choice you made being an entrepreneur. Like, yeah, but we need people in all facets of doing the work that you do. People that are working the 9 to 5, we need people in the trades.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, where can we look at where can there be some equality in simple things like, hey, you had a baby who actually needs you to bond And if you're feeling pulled in 8,000 different directions, that's really hard.
Yes.
I'm feeling that with summer coming on and with the kids being here. Obviously, I love them,
Yep.
but if I'm trying to engage them, but also be working, now I'm
And grow your
sucking at
business
everything.
too, like do all the things. It's damn near impossible.
Yeah.
So make that viral. I want that
Yes.
government fund, please.
Go make this happen. Whoever
Yes.
has the power to do that.
Yeah.
We'll be the voices and
If
the
you
faces
know
of
the
that.
people, then hook us up.
Yeah, but for real, it's a huge challenge. And I was just telling someone the other day about summer, because talk about feeling like a failure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Now you feel like you're failing at your business, and you feel like you're failing as a mom, and you feel like you're failing everything. And and this is a good reminder, especially to moms, but anyone that's in this world when summer comes up, is you cannot abandon yourself in these moments. Like, these are the times where you have to anchor into your self-care, because if you're not taking care of yourself, then literally all the wheels have fallen off.
Yes.
And we have to be the anchor. So will I still get up and work out? Yes. Will I still be drinking my shakes and eating my meals and taking care of myself that way? Yes. Am I going to have to get creative on that extra personal time?
Absolutely.
Yep, you sure do.
Yeah.
Sure do.
I just did a video out there of baby Melanie is 7 weeks old right now. When I hit that 6-week mark, I was like, oh my gosh, I can finally work out. I have been eager to work out.
Yeah.
Well, the second I put her down, she started crying. And I was like, how do I work out and still, be there for Melanie? And I was like, well, she's 9 pounds. 9 pounds is a good weight for, starters.
Yep.
So I just lifted her up. I was doing some heel elevated squats. I did some lunges, did calf raises or something like that. And 9 pounds is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I was feeling it. And I was like, all right, so this is a good way to kind of get creative.
Yep.
I still need to be there for myself, but I also
Yes.
need to be there for baby Melanie. And this is how.
Yes. I know that video was like, oh, you go, mama. Because I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember after I had Arlo, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to be that mom. I'm going to come back 4 weeks, 2 weeks earlier than they recommend, because I'm an overachiever. And then I remember doing this workout video at home. I had to lay on my back and put my feet straight up in the air, and you had to just tap your heels together. And I couldn't do that. It was the most humbling moment of my life. I'm like, what is happening here? I was just doing burpees.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, this is where you're at, Tami. You are starting from ground zero, and you need to realize your body just went through a major trauma. Like, it's a beautiful thing, but that is trauma to your body.
And you kind of like, it's weird because your mind is like, hey, I used to be able to squat this amount.
Yeah.
But your body's like, hey, you can't do that anymore. For example, I did burpees just how you said. I did burpees. I'm not used to these bigger boobs. I will admit that. And the way I do burpees is my chest is all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
So I was laying on the ground.
The milk's just
and I was like, oh, like this feels a lot different doing a burpee now versus before. And I was huffing and puffing after 10. I was like, oh my God, I feel like my chest is going to explode. And I was like, you need to feel this and go through it. I know the feels.
Look at you.
And be okay with your body now.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, and this ties right into the theme of this whole podcast, in that we have to check our ego, because your ego would be like, hey, remember when you used to do burpees? Like, why can't you do them anymore? Well, this is lame. Look how far behind you are now. And like all of that stuff, when we really drop in, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Yes, that's what I could do in the past. I'm in a very different place now. I need to honor where I'm at right now.
Yep.
My number one priority is this baby and taking care of my body so I can take care of this baby.
Yes.
Because if you're not, she's going to suffer.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not taking care of yourself mentally and physically,
it's going to reflect on her, and then the whole household's going to be a little
I'm sorry, Clay.
2 angry women.
Oh my goodness. So how has that transition been at home? Because for those of you who don't know Brittany was like a nonstop. She was at the gym and she's making deals. She's in real estate.
Yes.
You own your own real estate company.
Yes. So I am the owner of Front Porch Realty. Been in real estate for about 4 years now. And I actually transitioned into specializing in Airbnb, so short-term rentals. And it's something that right when I started niching down, I actually found my true passion in real estate.
Yeah.
And, business is booming, which is great. And it feels natural. And when it feels natural, you know that you are doing something right. So my husband and I, we own 3 Airbnbs now. And the funny thing is our third one, we found out that we were pregnant. And Clay was like, yep. Clay was like, so you want to buy another Airbnb? And I was like, dude, I'm pregnant. Like, what are you thinking? And then we started talking a little bit more. And I was like, all right, if we do it now, then we'll be renovating while I'm pregnant. We'll try to launch it before she's born. But if we don't do it, when's the next time will we do it? Because as
truly.
a parent knows, a kid will rock your world. And Clay and I just kind of had the F it, let's do it. So we were looking and found the perfect property. And it was a lot. I was painting with a mask on, don't worry, like one of those hazard masks. And I was painting the rooms while I was pregnant, and we were getting everything launched and ready. And yeah, we never stopped grinding. So
we did not, and that is her. I mean, we would be at the gym and she's on the treadmill and she's like wheeling dealers.
Yeah, so many people would make fun of me. So,
but you were just, I mean, so driven. But I think we've also talked about, this is where my childhood patterns and wounding comes in with her, because I know, like, being that overachiever and wanting to go above and beyond. And I see this a lot in real estate, actually. It's very, very common. And you actually asked me to speak at one of your events. And, and I called out some of them with...
It was great. I loved it.
This is why you're actually an overachiever and have no boundaries. And everyone's like, oh no, what just happened here?
You opened up so many minds of the realtors, and they're like, this is not a real estate not a real estate presentation. What is happening? I was like, yeah, this is your egos getting in check. So
right. Yeah. But it was really cool to have even the conversations afterwards for some of these women to come up and,
a couple of people cried.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the Tami touch.
The Tami touch. I thrive on tears.
She really does. That's her fuel. It's like her little gas. She just needs it more.
But I mean, I think part of it is you see so much burnout, and knowing what you were going through, and it might be working till 9 at night, or if someone was making a deal, like, you're up, and like, how do you not lose yourself in that? I mean, and this can apply to anyone's job, but especially entrepreneurs. Like, how do you shut it down? How do you carve in time for yourself when you got work to do all the time? You know, and people would ask me if I'm working on the weekend or working at night. I can't just shut it off at 5 o'clock. I have
I wish
a million things that I need to do right now, but I also have a million things I want to create and need to create. And so it never feels like you can just turn it off.
I think you really have to be passionate about your work.
You do. 100%.
If you are not passionate, you will sink hard. You will drown hard, and you will start hating it.
Yep.
But if you have found your passion, you look forward to that phone call. You look forward to the next conversation or the next project. And that's kind of how it was. Like, when someone called me early in the morning, I answered the call because I truly loved talking to them. With that being said, you do have to set your boundaries, though, especially with a husband or a family. Yep. And I've had so many conversations with Clay and telling him, like, hey, if I should not be on my phone right now, please tell me.
Yeah.
And he has definitely called me out a couple of times of being like, hey, like, this is family time. Can you please put your phone away?
Yeah.
And the second he always says it, I'm like, oh, and toss my phone. I'm like, so sorry. Because you kind of get engulfed in it.
You can.
And you just still have to prioritize your family, though.
Yeah.
So
that is tricky. But I love that. If you can communicate that ahead of time, then you're not taking offense to it, or Clay's not building resentment, just looking at you like she needed off her phone and not saying anything.
Correct.
Like, that's an issue when there is no communication and there's these expectations, but there weren't communicated boundaries. If you can communicate those boundaries, like, hey, when we're home, and actually one of the episodes I just recorded with Andy Wines, he was talking about, and it was like the 5-5-5 method, or he might've called it something cooler than that. But it was spending 5 minutes with his partner in the morning, no technology, 5 minutes after work, or, you know, whenever you get that time to connect, and 5 minutes at night.
I like that.
I know. I was like, that's so simple.
Yeah.
And it's intentional time, 5 minutes. Who doesn't have that?
Exactly.
And if you can't create that, you got some bigger stuff.
Yeah.
I know. I shoot. I told him, like,
I'm
you're
going
to
to do that.
Take
Yes.
notes on this episode, because he dropped so many little things like that where I was like,
Yeah.
Something that could be is so complicated, just bringing it down to make it simple.
Yep. And that is the family first method, I feel like.
Yeah, truly.
Whenever I look at my phone, I have the RBF. Yeah,
Oh.
RBF.
Yeah.
So Clay's always nervous whenever I look at my phone. He's like, oh my God, like, what's going on? Is it an Airbnb guest? Is something wrong? And I always say, like, oh, it's work related. And then he's like, oh, okay. I don't know why. I just always have the RBF whenever I look at my phone. And he's just like very concerned all the time. I'm like, I swear, it's not bad.
Is he a little empath over there, Mr. Clay?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about that, because you have gone into business with and at one point he was just your boyfriend.
Yep.
And then he was your fiance. Now he's your husband, and now he's the father of your child. And you guys have been through a lot together that really would have tested a lot of couples. And so share with what that journey has been like, and learning how to trust one another, how to communicate with one another.
Yeah. So it was not easy at first.
She's not a control freak at all.
No, not at all. Jokes, I am. But yeah, so we met in 2018. And at that point, we had no idea where life would take us. We were the type of people that right when I saw him walk through Nitty Gritty doors, he was my person. I was bartending at the time, and he walked through the doors. I was like, dang, look at that guy. Anyways, we were just always like very intentional with our words, and we communicate very well.
Yeah, you do.
But we both knew that we wanted something more. I come from a family that we are very comfortable talking money to each other, and not me. You didn't, yeah.
You're listening. I just mouthed, not me.
Yeah.
We did not talk about that.
So there was this one point, and Clay and I were boyfriend, girlfriend at the time, and we were at the Mallards game, and we had a private table. His company provided it at the Mallards game. So it was him, me, and then two of our friends. And again, I'm comfortable talking about money, but I know a lot of people aren't.
Right.
And at this point, I was like, hey guys, how much money do you make? And the look on people, like my friend's face.
The fear with someone to be presented with that question, because again, now your ego clicks in like, oh, whoa, what if I don't make enough? Now I'm not going to feel like enough, and worthiness, and you can bring up a lot of stuff for people.
It was a very risky question. But, all my friends have not same degree, but they all have a college degree and all that stuff. And they just started saying numbers. So one of my friends was, I think, 78 or 76. Another one was 75. Another one was 68. And I was making 38,000. Nothing wrong with that, but I was significantly lower than all my friends. And I was like, God, like, we are in the same boat for the degree. Why am I not where they are at? What am I doing wrong?
Ooh.
And that was a huge pivot in my life, and also Clay's, because then we started thinking, all right, how do we make passive income without sacrificing our jobs and making more money? And then I think I quit my job. I asked for a bonus. He said no. Quit my job.
That was a door closed because you weren't meant to stay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep. And quit my job, got another job that was making a lot more money, but it was awful. The boss was the worst boss ever, but actually I learned a lot from him of like what not to do.
100%.
So at that point, Clay and I got our first house, and I was like, gosh, this real estate thing, like, it's pretty great. And I went into real estate, and that was a very terrifying moment.
Back up though, because you didn't just go into real estate. You were kind of sought out in a sense, right?
Yeah. So we bought our house, and I had a mentor. His name was David May. Shout out to David.
Whoop, whoop.
But I was like, God, like, this is really fun. I like the whole contracts, the paperwork. I like talking to people. And I was like, I reached out to David. I was like, let's go get coffee. How do I become a realtor? And within literally a month, I didn't tell anyone. I was trying to get my education for a realtor or real estate, and
keep going.
Yeah, so I didn't tell anyone because I was like, if I fail this test, I don't want anyone knowing my failure. So, but I didn't. I passed right away, and I just told people, I was like, hey, I'm going to become a realtor. I'm going to quit my job, go into entrepreneurship full time. And that was a huge deal with Clay because now we don't have the security. So he really had to believe in me to make the money. And it was super scary. And I think there was a point that Clay was like, hey, you need to still pay your half of the rent because we're still boyfriend, girlfriend. If you can't pay it, I don't know what to tell you. And that was like an oh crap moment of I have to buckle down. I gotta do the things. And then it just kind of came really naturally to me. And then Clay and I sat down. We're like, all right, how do we make passive income? And he actually did a huge presentation about long-term investing. He's like, what if we just buy an investment property? And I was like, long-term investing just doesn't sound sexy. I don't know why. Just doesn't sound sexy.
Real estate in general doesn't sound sexy.
Yeah.
You go, girl.
And I was like, what about Airbnb? And then that's when it all took off. But it really started with talking about money first.
Yes. Wow. The reason I was having so many like visceral
reactions she was
because of so many things that you said. And this is where I love you so much because you don't even know that these things are happening. Like you just felt this intuitive nudge. Like one, I'm going to ask this bold question and I'm going to hear this answer from my friends that could easily trigger me and send me into, wow, you're this piece of crap and you're not. I mean, ego could have taken that and you could have played that comparison game and went into this downward spiral about how you're not good enough. But you didn't. It launched you into action. Like, whoa, okay, I want to change this story right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit in this, oh, woe is me, I'm making less. And like, no,
the poor me type of thing.
Yeah,
no, I was
victim.
like, let's go. You guys are my motivation.
Yes. Like, and how many times do you think that in your life and now you might even be afraid to tell someone that when they ask you, because like, well, I don't want to seem like I'm too much now. I don't want to share my success. And I was like, no, people need to hear that.
Yes.
So now, we had this conversation earlier. Like, I think you need to bring up about you celebrating the success that you've had. But sometimes we want to downplay that. Like, you're not doing anyone any favors because I see what you guys are doing as inspiring. And we need to know that that's possible.
Yeah.
To know, like, you made what from your short-term income? There's someone out here who needs to hear that because they're like, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if I should do it. And they need you to be that voice. Like, yeah, it is actually possible. And if there's anyone that it triggers and makes them feel bad about their situation, then they're choosing to be in that victim role.
And then they need to talk to you.
Look at how it.
Yeah, that's good.
Right, because there's something much, much deeper there where we want to deflect, we want to project, we want to blame, we want to sit in our own misery instead of just taking action. Like, wait a second. How can I change my situation? How can I look beyond? Because you even had a job then. You weren't saying like, how can I just up and quit this job and start something? Like, how could I just make some passive income? Like, start thinking outside of the box. And because you did that, look at the universe like, oh, I just needed her to ask the question. I just needed her to think beyond and I'll open doors for her.
It's wild. When you put your mind to it, I'm a big advocate for manifestation. And when you think that, let's say for like how I act and how I am is I say I make 100,000. Even if I make only like 30,000, I say I make 100,000 and long and behold, like I usually make that amount of money because I already say I do make it instead of I want to make it.
Like you're already in that
I'm
energy.
already like
in that
putting my energy toward that thing and it works out. So like when Clay and I first started investing, he was like, I want 3 Airbnbs in 5 years. And I was like, dude, that's wild. That's really complicated, especially because we were in our mid-20s at the time. And it took us 3 years to get 3 Airbnbs. And
did it.
It's one of those things that we look, because we have this little key poster on our wall, little keychain thingy.
Yeah.
And we wanted to fill every single slot up. And there's 3 slots. So now we have a key on each hook, and that's our Airbnbs.
Wow.
And I remember looking at that when we had one, and I was like, well, we have one. We have 4 more years to get to the other place. And we just looked at it the other day and I was like, we did it. We did it.
I love.
And now, of course, we want 10 of them, but
hey,
we want more.
It's just proof that you can do it.
Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing. And because of, I mean, you guys have just made the process and you even have a podcast talking about how to make that simple, the roadmap, right?
Yep. The Airbnb, oh my gosh. What's the name of my podcast?
Hey, it's Mom Brain. It's okay.
The Airbnb Roadmap Podcast. My gosh, I swear. It is a good one. And I can't believe I just forgot the name. But the Airbnb Roadmap Podcast, it's all about how to get your very first Airbnb. And literally every single thing I talk about is what I've learned, all my mistakes, and it's literally free education. So definitely check that out.
Not only do you have a podcast, you took it a step further and created a course.
Yes, I have a course, and that is the Airbnb acceleration course. And that I'm absolutely in love with that course just because it doesn't cost anyone a fortune. It's literally less than $500, and everything that I teach in that course equals to like literally $8,000 course. And I do that on purpose because I don't believe that someone should spend a lot of money on education when they are trying to get to a certain place. So
That's what's so hard for entrepreneurs. It's like, I want to learn, I want to invest in myself, but I'm also not making any money to do that, but yet I have to do that. And people don't understand that.
Because you have to spend so much money on the damn courses. Like, I want that person to take that $8,000 and put it into their property. Yeah. They don't need to put that into anything else but their property. So that's why my course is so cheap.
Well, and when that comes from a very genuine place versus you not valuing yourself or your program enough to charge more, that's very different. And that energy will come back to you tenfold.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing I wanted to mention was, I'm kind of jumping back, but I'll come back to this because I think this is really important, is when you decided you wanted to become a realtor and you didn't tell anybody, it might have felt like a place coming out of fear and that, well, if I fail, then no one will know. But I also, because you're so intuitive, also wonder if a part of you is like, if I tell people this, they're going to project all their stuff onto me. Like, why would you do that? Your degree is in this and you're working here. And people project so much of their own stuff and concerns and worries and things. And you're just like, nope, I'm doing this. I'm going to focus on this. And then I can share that. But sometimes like we share, and I've made this mistake a million times, where I've gotten really excited about something and I've shared it too soon and just everyone's put their stuff on me. And I remember one of the very first jobs to get my foot in the door at UW, I was going to have to leave a full-time job with benefits. It was my first one out of my internship.
Yes. Yep.
And the opportunity to get into UW health system was to work a 14-hour a week maternity leave coverage. So not only was I reducing my hours substantially, this job was not guaranteed. But I knew I had to do this. I knew it. And everyone was like, what are you doing? And I think we had just gotten engaged. So it was like all of the reasons why you shouldn't do this thing. But I knew intuitively, I have to take this interview. And if I get this opportunity, I have to take it. Despite what everyone else said to me. And if I would have listened to everyone else, I wouldn't have done that. And I wouldn't have had, the 10-year career that I had at UW that gave me so many nuggets of information and wisdom and knowledge and connections and all those things if I would have listened to those people.
It's amazing when you start telling people what you're doing, they could set you back a lot. And that's why I don't really tell people what I do now. I used to.
You put your head down and get to work and then you show the results.
Yes. And I remember one of my aunts, I told her that I was going to become a real estate agent. And she did not like that. She was like, that's such a dangerous job, which it could be. She was like, that is a dangerous job. Like that one person just died in like island and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I hear you. I'm not going to listen to you.
Thank you for your concerns.
But when you start telling people your ideas, they will shut you down. They will have their comments and concerns, and you need to just not listen to people. If you think that that is your path, take it. If you fail, whatever, do another path.
Well, and that was the other thing I wanted to come to was your ability to pivot. Because you just started Front Porch Realty.
Yeah.
And you could have been like, nope, this is what I started. I need to see this through and I need to dedicate all my time and energy to this thing. But also I was like, well, wait, I'm for some reason feeling called and pulled more towards Airbnb.
Yes.
I might now start a podcast. I might now build a course. Well, that's all taking you away from this thing that you just created and you just invested time and money and energy into. But this is such a beautiful example of, but this was starting to bring on some resistance when I was feeling lit up and I was pulled over here. But so many people do that, like, no, well, I'm supposed to do this. I should do this. And that was me being a dietitian. I felt like, I spent a ton of money on my master's degree and my internship and Like, that's what you should do, Tami. I'm like, I don't feel pulled to do that. It's a tool. What you have created over here is absolutely supporting this, but it doesn't have to be the thing.
Yeah, and one thing will lead to another, and then that thing will lead to another thing. And maybe in 2 years, if you guys hear some sucking, that's my baby. not on my boob, it's on my pinky.
If it was, I will allow you to breastfeed on here. I breastfed my kids wherever.
Oh, funny. But I am a true believer that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And there was a reason why when I went into real estate, I joined a team. That team gave me the knowledge that I needed.
Yes.
And then I left the team to pursue my own company. And then that company obviously is now geared toward Airbnbs. And I think that's the beauty of it. That one road led me to a side road that led me to a side road.
Yep.
And here we are. And I might have another side road. I don't know.
Right.
Who knows?
You just keep trusting. You have, again, this is where I love you so much, is because like I sit here and talk about this stuff and preach it, and you just intuitively do it. Where I'm just listening to that internal guidance. When I feel pulled, I take inspired action. I don't let my ego get in the way and create these stories or what other people's projections or what I should do, or you just do it.
I do feel bad for Clay though, because I'm always
probably like,
oh my God, he's probably like, oh, what now? Like, what's your next idea? What's your next idea? And I'm like,
but he's gotta trust you now.
Oh, he does. And I remember one time I asked him, I was like, were you scared when I joined real estate and I quit my job? He's like, absolutely. I was terrified. But he trusted me, which is so great. And I think that that's a huge part of having someone next to you throughout the whole way, trusting you, supporting you, and not saying like, you are dumb. What are you doing?
Yep.
He literally, every single time I have an idea, he's like, do it.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right. And even that gives me goosebumps, because like that's so important to have a supportive person next to you cheering you on.
Absolutely. And back to Andy Wine's episode, he was talking about the people you have in your life, and people that are in denial about their own situation and they're always projecting onto you. He's like, I just don't have those in my life. I don't have those people in my life. At some point, you have to start weeding out those people because they're everywhere. And if you let them in, they will take over that garden, right? And so it's like you have to be really intentional about the thoughts you plant, the people that you plant, in order to see you grow. And if it's not a spouse, because sometimes it always isn't, and oftentimes they may be the trigger, they may be the one where it's like, whoa. And that was certainly my case. Supportive in certain ways, but in terms of like really fueling me to do what I needed to do, I always felt like, so I had to, being here by myself, surround myself with friends that would do that for me, that poured into me and believed in me and saw those pivots as like, okay, trust your intuition, go for it, take that big risk. And not project their own stuff onto me, because they were aware enough to know if they were. Because a lot of people don't know that that's what they're doing.
Correct. And nowadays with the whole money talk type of thing, I'm really comfortable talking about money. And I know that you kind of struggle with it a little bit. And wild. But like, I think it's so important that when you are comfortable, like you could talk to me about like, hey, like this is how much I made this month. I need to get to this. Like, can you help me out with that? Or like, what are the things I need to do to be better with money talk?
Right.
So,
and that's just it. It's finding safe people like you who are comfortable with that, and aren't going to judge you or criticize you or look down on you or whatever it is. Even when you have a big celebration, that they're going to celebrate that with you, because it can go both ways, right?
Yes.
You're going to be worried about, well, if I'm not making enough, they're going to judge me. But if I'm making too much, they're going to judge me. Like, no.
That's a thing.
That's a
thing.
thing.
That is a thing. So I have a Instagram ad out there, and I'm pretty much trying to promote my podcast. And in the ad, it says, I make over $100,000 in revenue from my 2 Airbnbs. And I think I texted you this, and I was like, is this too bold? And you're like, no, like, do it.
I believe I said, fuck no.
Yeah, I think so. She did say that. But it's a fear of, for some reason, I don't want to show my friends that. And I don't know why I'm so afraid to show my friends that, because I think, just like what you mentioned, that it can be inspiration for them.
Yes.
But I don't want to seem too braggy. And I don't want to be like, oh, look at me. Because like I do see other people's posts, and there's this one guy I follow on Instagram, and he has a very like bro-ish pose on his $100,000 wakeboarding boat. And he's like, look what I got. And I'm like, oh my God, like this guy. but I'd never want to be
Right.
that girl.
Right.
So it's hard. And you don't want to tell people how much you make because they might judge you. But if anyone were to say like, hey, like how much do you have in your bank account? I'd be like, oh, it's this amount. I'm totally comfortable with that, but I'm not comfortable being that braggy person.
Right. The fact that you even think about that and care means you're not ever coming from that energy.
Yeah.
You're not coming from the, oh, look at me and my cool stuff that I've, it's not that. But you can even hear like your own ego and mine saying, the freaking intro of my podcast talks about me being a hot dog.
Yeah.
And that was just for scoring a freaking goal. So yeah, I'm not going to tell people how much money I made, but man, people have created stories about my money situation and people have no freaking idea. Because that's this thing like, and there are the people that are in my close circle know the challenges, know that it's hard for me to talk about it, know that I've had problems asking for money that people actually even owe me because now I don't want to be a burden to them to ask for the money that they agreed to pay me.
Which is absolutely ridiculous, but
it's
true.
my own stuff.
Yeah.
And I can be fully aware of that, but it's like I've done so much work on that worthiness, but it's also recognizing,
Girl, you were getting goosebumps just talking about this.
fired up over here.
Uh,
I think where that comes from me around money is growing up in a small town. There was a message around people who had money were selfish pricks.
yes.
And so they were almost like outcasts. And I wonder, is there a part of us that obviously as our inner child desperately wants to fit in, wants to be relatable, wants to be liked.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start like everybody else, we fit in, but you start making more and you're celebrating that and you're standing out. Like that can trigger something really deep inside of us that's like, well, I don't want to stand out too much.
Yep. You don't want to be like the shiny person that could inspire a lot of people, but you're also afraid of what they're going to think.
Right. When really we have to tell ourselves over and over again, that's for them.
Yes.
That's for them. If my post triggers something in them, an inadequacy in them, that is for them. And that is not up to me to fix. I am literally just holding this light to show them what's possible.
Yep.
The rest of it.
That's a good way to think about them. Yes. Front porch light. Well, my name is Front Porch Realty, but in my logo, there is a light post.
That's where I got that from.
Yes.
Yeah. That's literally what you're doing though, is I'm shining this light that, hey, this is what's possible for you. It's up to you if you want to go get it.
That's a good slogan.
Boom. You heard it here.
Oh, make a shirt out of that one.
But that's the work that people don't see when you're in entrepreneurship that you have to do.
Yes.
Because you see the post, but you don't know what it took for her to put that post out there. And then once you put it out there, all the fear and like, what are they going to think and all this stuff. And we're still talking about it. It still brings up emotion for you.
Yeah. And I posted that, I want to say like 3 months ago.
Right.
And I'm still thinking about that post.
Yeah.
And it's a thing.
Right.
And there's so much behind the scenes for entrepreneurship that is absolutely ridiculous. People see the success stories of, hey, this is where I'm at, but they don't see everything that happened at all. For example, even the Airbnb is like, Clay and I, we do all the renovations. I'm pretty much Clay's like glorified assistant, let's be real, but we go through it together. And when the guest checks in, they see all the prettiness, they see the gorgeous cabin, but they don't see the work that we put in the blood, literally blood and tears and everything.
Yeah.
And I think that is a true sign of entrepreneurship, that people see all the success stories, but they don't see the behind the scenes of that.
Well, and that's too, when you think about like, oh, I don't want my friends to see that. Well, even opening the door so your friends see the work that went into that. Like, I didn't just magically make $100,000 doing this. Did you see the actual physical labor that went into this? But not even that. When I think about the work that I'm doing, mine is very different. It's not physical like your guys's. I'm not painting cabinets and stuff.
Very mental.
Generational patterns and like the work that I feel like I'm doing, it's not anything you can measure and see, but fuck, it's a full-time job.
Yes.
And it's so hard and it's so exhausting and it never stops. And then I still have to make money somehow.
Yep.
So I don't even get paid
full
for
circle. I still need to make money.
So when I think about, when you're putting a price on your course or your coaching or whatever, I think about that. If I'm putting a price on my coaching, it's not just for my hourly time.
Yeah.
This is for literally a lifetime of experience, because now I'm not just giving you my degree and my nutrition stuff.
You're selling the education.
It's lived experience.
Mhm.
It's energetic work. It's all of these things. And so it's like, how do you
put a price tag on that?
Right.
Yeah. I know you and I both struggle with this, and it's not like knowing our value,
right?
but it's also,
But do people know theirs? Like I had to
yeah.
come through that. Like, does that person feel worthy enough to do this kind of work, to make that kind of investment?
Yeah.
Because
And
we have both invested in ourselves, like, whoa,
a lot. Yeah.
courses and programs, and that's the stuff
All the
again that you don't
things.
always see.
Mm-hmm.
And so for someone that on 9 to 5 to look at what we do and like, yeah,
Yeah, we take phone calls at the gym at 5 a.m.
yeah. I mean, I might have someone call me that's in a moment feeling triggered, Saturday night,
Mm-hmm.
and they paid for one-on-one coaching for me. And I said, like, hey, I'll be in your back pocket. I need to now be there for that person to do that and be in the space and clear my own stuff and make sure that I can show up for them.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is a wild thing because you need to put out so much value, like your value proposition, and like put out the education part of it, and then hope that someone would like to work with you and give you money. I know that sounded bad, but that's very it's authentic. It's it's
as simple
transparent.
as possible. Yeah.
That we love what we do, but we also need to make money, and we have to figure out how do we help people and make money at the same time.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
I think it was I think it was the very first podcast that I put out. And I think my producer at the time was like, Tami, you need to encourage people to like and subscribe, and you need to ask them for things. I'm like, no, I can't ask them to do something that's even free. I wasn't even asking you to be a Patreon at that time. I just wanted you to freaking like a post.
I just want to like a post as it.
Yeah. But then I had said in that episode that it hit me when Aria said to me one night, we were talking about this kind of stuff. And she's like, Mom, when are you going to start taking care of yourself?
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, that one hit me hard.
Yeah.
It's not even just taking care of me. I'm now taking care of them too.
Yeah.
So it's real. It's real.
Parenthood
is, it'll shine a big old light on all of the things.
Yeah, it's wild. Being a mother now, it's like, it's a lot. And there's so much that moms don't talk about. Like, breastfeeding sucks.
Yeah, when you messaged me, I was like, girl, I breastfed both kids for 3 years.
God.
Like, what do you want to know?
It's like, it's crazy that there's so much stuff that people don't talk about.
No.
And like, there's another example, and now I'm going to blank on it. Yeah, now I just totally blanked.
That's
We
right.
can edit that part out. I don't know. What was I
okay.
going to say? Oh my gosh. What is something that's so difficult that was really a big irk of mine?
That people don't talk about?
Yeah. What was that? Do
Wait.
you know?
No.
Are you in my brain right now?
I'm trying. Just hold on. Let me tap into my telepathy here.
Big irk.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it made me think of a conversation that we had about this is hard.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We don't talk about how hard it actually is in the moment, and that people will be like, well, you get to spend time with her. And yeah, I know. And I'm grateful and I love all of this, but this is so freaking hard.
Yes. Yeah. It's, having a baby I'm very thankful. I know a lot of people.
Easily.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, they struggle and whatnot. I'm very thankful that it was pretty easy for Clay and I. But it is so much work. Breastfeeding, pumping. Oh, that was one of the things, is that not a lot of people talk about formula. And I thought that was an overachiever or overproducer and overachiever, other things. And I thought I was doing really good. Well, there was one week that baby Melanie was crying. Clay and I were like, oh my gosh, like, do we get a colicky baby? Like, what's going on? She had bad baby acne too. So I was like, let's just bring her in, just check out the rash. And
listen to your intuition.
Yeah, and they weighed her and she actually lost 1 ounce. And this was after that she already lost like the true baby weight. She gained it and now she's losing again.
Yeah.
And I was like, gosh, like what's going on? Went to a lactation person the next day and she was like, you're only producing 2 ounces in total per feed. She needs about 3 to 4. And I was like, gosh, like I am starving my baby. And that's something that a lot of people don't talk about, how it happens a lot.
Yeah.
That they don't realize that they are not feeding their baby as much as they need to because they're just breastfeeding. And this lactation person's like, you need to go get donor milk. You need to start feeding your baby. Well, that was a huge thing. I got home. Clay was like, "How was your appointment?" Like all jolly and whatnot. And I started bawling, because that's something that no mother wants to hear. They're not feeding
Because
their
now
baby.
you feel like, yeah, you're not enough. You're
Yeah.
not doing a good enough
And
job. And
I got the donor milk. I was like, "We need to feed her donor milk." And he was like, "No, this is a parent decision." And he was very like, our communication style is amazing. He was like, "I don't feel comfortable doing that. Let's put her on formula." So now giving her titty milk, titty milk, and then giving her formula afterwards. But the more we talk to other parents, formula is very normal. But social media has made it seem not as,
there's like
I
some
guess,
shame around it or something.
some shame around formula.
Yeah.
And it's so ridiculous because like another friend of mine, well, her mom told me this, she didn't tell me this, but she did not like breastfeeding and she went straight formula. And there was a lot of shame to that. And so she's kind of afraid to tell people.
Yeah.
And another friend stopped after 2 days.
Yeah.
So this is stuff that like the more that you talk to parents about it, it's actually coming to light of like, oh, this is natural. This is normal. And this is what a lot of moms are going through and no one talks about it.
Right. Well, again, that's all ego because there's some sort of shame that we have built that we need to be everything, do everything.
Mhm.
And then when we're not, it triggers that part of us that feels inadequate, that doesn't feel worthy. And so it's like, well, I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
I can't bring that to light. But when you do, and that's literally why I have this podcast, is to talk about the things that people are uncomfortable talking about. So people realize like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. I'm now hearing myself in your story.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel so alone. And I don't feel so shameful about that anymore. Like, where does that come from? That shame comes from something rooted in your childhood where you felt like, I need to be everything for everyone. And society has obviously conditioned us that way. And there was a time period where formula was the thing and breastfeeding was weird.
I was a formula baby.
Yeah.
My dad is, everyone in my family are formula people.
Yeah. Is it very interesting how that pendulum all of a sudden swung completely the other way? Whereas now if you use formula, like, well, you don't care enough about your baby and it's all about you. And like, whoa. Like,
relax.
Right.
Like the baby's still healthy. It's still growing.
Okay. Are there, certain benefits to breastfeeding? 100%.
Yes. I believe that the baby should still get some titty milk.
But at the end of the day, do we just need to make sure that our baby is fed and nourished and that I'm still finding a way to truly connect with that baby during feeding times? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And another thing too is I had an emergency C-section and no one talked about how like around that scar or incision or whatever, like my skin is literally numb. Yeah. But when I start talking about that to other women, they're like, oh, that's normal. Why didn't I know about it then?
Also,
like no one talks about this stuff and it's so ridiculous. Come on. Start talking, women. Start talking.
And that word, it's normal. Yeah, it was also normal for us to hide our tampons. It was normal for us to not know anything about our periods. It was normal for us to not talk about perimenopause. So I even want to challenge that just because, oh yeah, that's normal. Wait a second. Is it normal because we're all suffering in silence and it's just we don't have enough programs created for us or support or resources where we've just like, oh, it's normal because women freaking endure and we just suffer through it?
We just go through it.
Right.
And it's
where it's like, hold up a second. Where is the support? I think about the postpartum support. Oh, dear Lord.
Oh,
there is not enough of that. And I thought about from a body kindness. I went through that with my kids. I had extreme body dysmorphia before I had Aria to the point where I didn't even know if I wanted to have kids because I was so terrified of what it would do to my body. That was real. And I hate to admit that, but it's real.
Yeah.
But then once I was pregnant with her, I was like, okay, it's not about me finally. And that felt like, oh, like the first time I could just relax and not worry about my abs. I know that sounds so vain, but that's body dysmorphia, truly. And then after having her, that really shifted something in me where it was more about, again, honoring my body and especially with Arlo, because again, I remember even coming back thinking like, okay, because I was at boot camp and I wanted to, and I was like, whoa, no. And that was a real humbling lesson of no, you actually need to honor your body.
Yeah.
And I judged myself so hard during Arlo's pregnancy because I'm like, now I'm the dietitian who's pregnant and I needed to look this certain way and be this certain way. And there was expectations that I put on myself. And when all of a sudden I started gaining weight at a rapid pace, because at my first trimester,
Is this after Arlo?
no,
Or-
this was when
okay.
I was pregnant with him. My first trimester,
Yeah, I
I didn't
gained a
really
lot of
gain
weight,
much.
too.
And then all of a sudden, my second trimester, I'd go in for a visit and it's like, you've gained 11 pounds. You've gained 14 pounds. You've gained 9 pounds. And I was just, my ego was like, what the Tami? And
Yes.
I know my rational self was like, this doesn't even make sense because I didn't have cravings. I was still working out. I was doing all of the things on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So none of that made sense. And I went down there was a period there where I'm like, I might actually be depressed and I was not in a good place. And then all of a sudden something just snapped where I was like, I need to trust my body.
Yeah, you're growing a human.
Yeah. Like my body's like, yo, I'm trying to create a healthy home here. You got to trust that whatever weight I'm putting on, it's for this baby.
Yep.
You're not doing anything. Again, nothing on paper made sense. I wasn't eating a gallon of ice cream. And even if you are, there's no judgment. But for me in that case, it helped me see, wait a second, I need to trust my body
Mm-hmm.
and that it's gaining what it needs to gain to create this healthy home for him. And then once that clicked, the rest of my pregnancy was just like, it was so great.
Oh, that's awesome. I know even after the C-section when we came home, obviously you're not losing your weight right away.
Nope.
And I have the stretch marks on my stomach. I was so happy. I would say the end of my second trimester, no stretch marks. I was like, ha, I beat you. Look at me. And then a little stretch mark came and my loving husband was like, I'm going to take a picture of your belly button. Your belly button looks really funny right now. And I was like, okay. He was not taking a picture of my belly button. He was taking a picture of my first stretch mark.
Oh.
And it grew fast.
Yeah.
And now I still have the stretch marks. I'm trying to get rid of them. But he is like, you are sexy. You look amazing. I was like, how are you seeing this? Because I don't see this. I don't see the sexy Brit anymore.
Oh.
I see the stretch mark. I see like the lump down there. I don't know how to describe it. The belly lump. Whatever.
I remember that
The
though,
pooch,
too.
the
It does,
pooch.
yeah, that's real. That doesn't go away. And I remember same moment of like, whoa. But then I was like, oh my gosh, it's so smart. Our bodies are so smart that it's literally building a shelf for me to hold my baby while I feed my baby or while I'm holding. Like it was just this extra little
Well,
support.
that's a cute way to think about that.
Oh, like I could all of a sudden have appreciation for
Want
that.
to go on my little pooch there, baby?
Yeah, little poochie.
Yeah.
Oh, good. She's like,
Oh, yeah. I want to go on your pooch, Mom.
But I love that you're saying this is because, again, this is all
Yeah.
ego puts that blinder on, doesn't want you to see what is actually there. But for you to allow what Clay is saying and to like, okay, I don't see that, but I want to allow myself to feel what he's saying because thinking of her, like she's going to be in that position someday. How would I want her to feel in that?
100%. Oh my gosh. I made such a big mistake the other day. I have a bin of clothes that I put away. They're my before I get pregnant clothes. And I wrote a note to myself saying, I'll see you in fall of 2025. And that's on top of my bin. And that's my goal, is to fit in my normal clothes in fall. Well, there was one day I was feeling very skinny. And I was like, damn, look at me. I tried on.
I feel like we know where this is going.
Yes, I tried on a normal shirt. And let's just say I was like, how did I even fit in this before? And I was like, oh, that sucks. I can't fit in my normal clothes. And I was like, okay, I'm literally like 3 weeks postpartum. Come on, Britt. But that was like a thing of, all right, you got to start grinding. You got to start working out. And yeah, so fall of 2025.
Right.
Or,
because again, is that your ego now being like, well, here you are. You're not good enough. You're not. Or can you come from an energy of, no, I want to get back to feeling confident in my body and knowing that my body is doing exactly what it needs to right now. It's holding on to the weight it needs to hold on to so I can produce milk. Because if I'm all of a sudden super skinny, like I can't support both me and her. So it's like, so maybe your body needs to be where it's at right now. It needs to be, well, the demands are higher.
Needs to have that little pooch.
Yeah. But just, I feel like.
Yeah.
The more and this took me so many years to realize, but the more I forced my body from a place of, you don't look good, I don't feel good, I want to change you. I felt like my body just gave me the middle finger and was like, fuck you, because I just gave you a baby. I just grew a baby. And not only that, we had to birth this baby. And oh, by the way, I'm also nourishing and creating milk for your baby. And now you want to look in the mirror and say, you're not good enough and worthy enough. We need to change you.
That's deep.
Right. So
That
it's like
is
coming
deep.
from the energy of like, I want to take care of this body that created this baby, that birthed this baby, that is creating nourishment for this baby. And that may look like moving my body and working out. That may look like it's just a very different energy, right?
Yeah. My God. We are like in a therapy session right
Oh,
now.
I've been-
This
I have been
is
here.
scary for me, guys. Emotions.
Yeah.
Damn.
But you deserve that and your body deserves that.
Yeah, I
She
like
deserves that.
that like my body did a lot, and I need to look at my body and be like, damn, you go, girl. You go,
Yes.
Glen Coco. Yes.
Yes. But
Right, Mel?
I can say that because I've been there and I remember that moment of like, wait a second, my body just did something amazing. And after all that work, you feel like you went through all this work for an Airbnb. You put in all this time and effort and work.
Yep.
And then someone comes in and just completely like unappreciates it. And you're like
You little crap.
they don't see the behind the scenes, right? And that's kind of what your
Yes.
body's like, yo, how quickly you forget all the work that I just did for you.
Yo,
Hope you appreciate your stay.
That was awesome. I love that. That was. Hope you appreciate your stay. Oh, I wish I could tell my guests that. Hope you appreciate it. Give me that 5-star review.
You can use this clip for that. Just put it on your social media. Hope they hear it.
Make a QR code, put it on the refrigerator. Appreciate your stay.
You have no idea how much work went into this.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah,
That's real.
that's real. All right, well, good. Because now I feel much more confident and excited for you to reach that goal in the fall, knowing you're going to be working with your body versus beating it into submission.
Hopefully you'll be seeing my transition
Hopefully I will.
because
Yeah, I haven't
Are we
announced it yet,
oh,
but I
love-
could.
you?
I should. We have a whole episode on it.
I mean, might as well do a little plug.
Might as well do a little plug. I don't need to say what it is yet. Well,
No.
maybe what it is, but not what it is.
Yeah, I got you. They're like, oh my God, what is this? Guys, I just do a little nugget.
What's the nugget though?
You know, me and my body and my transition into the body I want.
I may have a place to help her with that.
And I may be going there. I may have a free babysitter too.
I will be holding her baby while she's moving her body.
And that is all you get. Just like that.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was enough nuggets for them to be like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
Okay. Yeah, because I also,
I will-
following Brittany's lead, decided to take a huge leap of faith,
Mm-hmm.
following my intuition, doing something that's going to be life-changing and hopefully helping be life-changing for others.
Yeah, and it's a path that is natural to you.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's kind of a huge part of my life. And now I'm just going to seam it into
Hell yeah.
seam it into the work that I'm doing.
Yes,
So,
I'd love that.
Yeah. Sweet. Thank you for that, I guess.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And maybe the episode will come after this because it's official. It's happening. We just haven't made the official announcement because there isn't like a call to action yet for people to sign up for this cool thing. But
You'll get there.
this will be a great episode before that one goes out. So I'll make sure I time them just right.
I totally forced this on you, and I love that.
I love it. This is good because I put you on the spot with that. So thank you. I'm all hot and sweaty over here now too. Calling me out on my. But that itself, I was certainly going back to the, you're going to put out this big thing that you're doing. What are people going to think about it? I'm like, guess what? I don't give two shits what people think about
Nope.
it because I
You're
know
just
what I had to
Doing
do
it.
to take this big risk and what that means for me and my family. So you got to go big or go home.
Go big or go home.
Yeah.
That's the risk factor of
Yeah.
entrepreneurship.
That was Arya's quote after her dance recital yesterday. And I just because she comes, and I said to her before on our way to dance, she was going over all these things that messed up in her rehearsal.
Mhm.
And I was like, Arya, I actually asked for the invitation this time, which I'm learning with her because if I just throw my advice at her and my wisdom, she's not always receptive. Interesting. And I'm a projector. I now know you need the invitation. So I just said, hey, can I offer you some advice?
Yeah.
And she's like, sure. I'm like, every professional athlete before a big game,
Mhm.
they are not thinking about all the shots that they missed. They are visualizing that basket going in.
Yep.
Like you hear stories, Michael Jordan.
Manifesting it.
Yes, you are seeing that go in. So right now on our way to dance, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to see that dance happening flawlessly, that you are nailing it, that you are bringing the
Yes.
energy. Like what happened, you learned. Now you were able to tweak and see where you needed to improve. Now apply that right now on our way there,
Mm-hmm.
which I was surprised she actually received that. So then we're walking out from her dance thing and I was telling her, I'm like, Aria, like what I loved most is like you brought emotion to that. Like there, because you could tell when you're watching a dance routine, there's always one dancer that's just bringing a little extra something because they're bringing the emotion in. They're not just going through the motions. They're feeling it and you can tell they're feeling it. And she was. And she goes, yeah, I just figured I'm going to go in with big energy. And if I mess up, I'm going to mess up big. I was
Yes.
like, fuck yeah.
Parenting.
Yeah. I was trying not to like say fuck yeah to my 11-year-old daughter, but I was.
Whatever.
I might have. I definitely came with that energy though, but it was like, yes. And but we also need to embody that for our kids, right?
Yeah.
And so
We need to do that for our projects that we worked so hard on.
Yeah.
And we need to, express that to the world of check out what I just did.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah. This is why I love you, because you're doing that with your business. And I've been doing that with my body, like appreciating my body and doing that. And it's almost like it's now reversed where it's like, I have to do that with my business. And now you have to do that with your body. That's why we compliment each other. You're the yin to my yang.
I am. Oh my gosh.
My jelly.
That's awesome.
I love this so much.
I can't wait for your ventures though.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
I know. I'm getting the goosies. And really what's so cool is that literally everything I do is going to blend right into this beautiful soup of Tami.
And you deserve it too. You have done so much to other people and helped their businesses. Now it's time to help your own business and your own life and everything. So this is good. I'm excited.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for being on my podcast.
Well,
and thank you for being so, this has been fun that you have a podcast and you know what goes on behind the scenes to doing all of this work.
Yes.
So I appreciate that.
There's a lot to launch a podcast, that's for sure. And you do a lot too. So the edits and all. But thank you for having me on. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
And making me share my emotions and feelings.
She did it, everyone.
Good.
It's not easy for her, but you did it.
Yeah.
Again, you're giving people permission, like, oh, as an entrepreneur, as a mom, I can talk about these things.
We did talk about a lot today, though.
We did.
Talked about the money, the baby, the entrepreneurship, and the struggles. So this is a good episode.
Yes. I feel like we're going to need a part 2 and I don't know, life after.
Yeah.
I'm going to have before what this is coming, life before,
I'm gonna
life
be like,
after.
it was a roller coaster ride. It got real.
When you think about, we'll kind of wrap it up on this, but you always hear that phrase like women supporting women. And you have absolutely been that for me in so many areas of my life. I mean, personally, just at the gym when we were going through
all the things,
but especially in entrepreneurship, because I didn't always have those people to connect with and talk to that really understood it. And it's no fault of anyone's, but unless you're in it, you don't fully understand it. And so if I saw you taking a call when we were grabbing lunch, I'm like, I didn't think like, oh, she doesn't think I'm a priority. I'm like, no, I understand it. You got to do what you got to do. This is your livelihood.
Yeah.
And to have that person who understands it and cheerleads. But you have supported me literally on everything, being able to talk about the podcast. And you actually helped me figure this out. Actually, have you ever tried Riverside? And I was like, what? So now I guess we're editing on my own and all the things. But yeah. And even this next big venture, I'm excited that you're going to be a part of it. And actually, I just saw today, shit, a memory pop up that you were there 5 days straight. And I was like, my girl Britt just showed up for herself 5 days straight.
Gosh.
Literally today. Now she's here. So look at that.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yes. So thank you so much for that.
Well, this has been fun. We'll do it again.
Yes. Oh.
And it sounded like a monkey right there.
They were my favorite animal growing up, so shout out to my inner child. But if you have not heard yet, I'm sure you have by now, that the Tami Talks Unscripted Healing Podcast.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we
forgot, but that's right.
We're
here now.
Yeah,
was put on the ballot for Best of Madison local podcast, and so if you have not voted already, please do, so that way more conversations like this can get out there to more people, so more women can feel seen in motherhood,
authentic
and entrepreneurship.
entrepreneurship.
How do you say that word?
That's a hard word.
It
Try
is
spelling
a hard
that.
word.
Ugh.
I always have to get caught. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Vote for her. She's good.
thank you.
She brings out the feels. Tami talks.
Tami Talks, Unscripted Healing Podcast. Let's go, Madison.
Let's go.
Ooh, that's funny. That's gonna tie into next week's episode. Let's go, Madison. You'll see.
Oh, I was like, why is that funny?
Yeah, that's funny that I just said that. Anyway, on that
Goodbye.
note, any lasting words for people?
No, I would say if you're interested in, well, if you're interested in my course, reach
Yeah.
out to me. If you're interested in investing in real estate, reach out to me. My podcast name is the Airbnb Roadmap Podcast. There we go. I actually said it this time instead of forgot it. And yeah, so
Yeah.
thanks everyone.
And just follow her for the realness because you're.
Oh yeah, I'm
starting to-
funny. I
She
am a
is.
funny individual.
She is quite funny. You
Mhm.
haven't been able to tell, but just
Yeah.
very real, and that's why people love you. So
And I love people.
yes, awesome. All right.
We gotta wrap this up. Goodbye.
On that note, thank you everyone for tuning in and for sharing space for Brittany and her sweet little daughter, Melanie, who just rocked this whole little episode, just chilling.
Yeah.
Our voices must be soothing. Next time she starts
Sleeping
crying,
the
you can-
whole
you can
time.
play. You can just play my podcast over. I'd be like, I can't take it anymore.
Clay's gonna be like, oh, Tami talks again. Yes.
Always, she never stops.
Always in my life.
And shout out to Clay. I just want to give Clay a shout out because he's such a behind the scenes dude that puts in some hard work, but he has really been a rock.
Yeah,
you.
he puts a lot of work in and
Yeah.
he's a grinder.
Yeah.
And whenever I say like, hey, I appreciate you, you can tell he loves that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that he realizes how much he does for me and well, not for Melanie and our life. So
Yeah. So shout out to you, Clay.
Shout out.
You're a real one. You're doing the work.
the
so.
real MVP. Thanks.
Awesome, everyone. Okay. Officially this time, until next week, hopefully, I'm not going to say hopefully because Andy Wines called me out on using that word. I will make sure that this episode airs before the big giant announcement episode that I have been teasing you all for months. It is coming, and this will officially be the episode that airs before that. So thank you for teeing me up, Brittany, and I cannot wait to see you there, and hopefully a lot of you there as well when that announcement is official. So stay tuned. All right, see you next week.
Bye.